Good afternoon. Welcome to Bull City Hangout 7-2, second day of July. I'm Pat Murray. I publish the Durham Skywriter, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. And with Bull City Hangout, basically I tell you what's happening today in Durham. And then I invite you to join me on camera and hang out and share information. I wanted to tell you about my granddad because it's his 100, he would be 135 today. But I think what I need to do, however, is to start out with the school tools page because it is, like I've been saying, it's lunchtime, and if it's hard to feed your kids, you know, due to lack of money, I just wanted to let you know where you can take your kids to get a free bagged lunch. So let me get that out the way first, do my my duties first, and then tell you about Grandad. Okay, so as you know, this is for young people ages 18 and under in need, and also adults can get free non-perishable food supplies. So you have until 12:30 to get to Bethesda, Eno Valley, Githens, Erin Harris, Hillside High, Parkwood, or Sandy Ridge. And then you have until 1:30 to get to Burton, Lakeview, Shepherd, Southern High School, or Southwest. And the addresses can be found on the school tools page of the Durham Skywriter. You go to durhamskywriter.com and then scroll down or click on school tools. Another thing I want to tell you about real quick is the partnership of Chicken Hut and Healthy Start Academy. So as you know, Chicken Hut has the best buffet lunches in town, maybe the world. But what's really cool is that they have allowed people from Healthy Start Academy to set up in their lobby and give away free boxed lunches for kids in need. And I think that's a wonderful partnership. So you have until like 2-ish. So it's from like 12 to 2, but sometimes they run out because there's a lot of need. So Jeff said maybe try to get there maybe by 1:30, just to make sure. All righty. Oh, wait, today's Thursday. So let me tell you about Grace Church of Durham. They're also giving away free box lunches, and that is a drive-through program that they call Grab and Go Meals for Kids. You drive up, grab, and go. There you go. Simple as that. All right, and again, the address and everything can be found on the school tools page. So with today being July 2nd, that's Granddad's birthday, Charles Jacob Harris. He was born in 1885 in Augusta, Georgia, and he was a music professor at different schools throughout the South. While he was at Payne College in Augusta, his hometown, he met my grandmother. That's them right there. Wait, does it say the year? Well, it's while they were in Orangeburg. He taught there. Now, the years that my mom was growing up here in Durham, Grandma actually stayed behind here in Durham and lived with her parents while Granddad taught, and they got to see him over the summer. So I don't know whose car that is because they didn't drive. They're just showing out. That is not their car. But here's the cool thing. So the reason why Granddad was so old, he married his sweetheart. Now, Grandma Harris was a student at Payne. He was an instructor. I mean, everything was cool. I mean, he waited until she graduated before dating her, and he asked permission. And he said that they would go out on a date on her front porch while her parents were like reading the newspaper in the front room, you know, like this, watching every move. So anyway, so Grandma was, what, 20 years younger or whatever. I'm not good at math. Anyway, she was younger than Granddad. And they were a wonderful couple. I'm lucky to have been able to meet him because of the fact he didn't start having kids until he was 38. No, married at 38, started having kids, or rather, grandma started having kids when he was 40. So he got a late start, but better late than never is what I always say. So he was, again, he's a professor at different schools, Claflin, South Carolina State, which is where he spent most of his time, Payne, a bunch of different schools. But he had a lifelong friend, Roland Hayes. He was wonderful. He's an incredible singer. He was not the first African-American to go to Europe to become a famous classical singer, but he was the first to gain international fame. They went throughout the United States in the teens, 19 teens, that is, to raise the money for Roland Hayes' trip to Europe. Grandad didn't get to go because by then he was he was busy. He was an instructor, becoming a family man, et cetera, et cetera. So this is Roland Hayes and Grandad. The picture on the, I guess, your left is them in 1915, and then you can see them again, 1945. They were both Qs, Omega Psi Phi, and they were proud of that as well. So that's Grandad. And one more picture I wanted to show you. This is Grandad at his 100th birthday party. It was at Governor's Inn here in Durham. And I was the only one in my family who was able to go. It was really kind of upsetting. My dad actually came down sick, super sick, the night that they were supposed to, the night before they were supposed to come here to Durham for Grandad's birthday. Pop got really, really sick. And in fact, my brother-in-law, Donald, saved his life, rushing him to the hospital nonstop without even waiting for the ambulance. So because I had left from work, I was working, I think I was working third shift back then. So I left from work and was the only person to be able to make it to really enjoy that incredible occasion. So shout out and hats off to my granddad, Charles Jacob Harris. Okay, back to Bull City Hangout. I had to do that. Hope you don't mind. Okay, now let's go to the, okay, I told you about school tools. The only other page we're going to visit today is Let's Go. There's a couple of things happening today. Let's see. Oh, just want to let you know, just spoke with Desi L. Campbell. He has this weekly Let's Talk Genealogy webinar, and usually it's on Thursdays from 6 to 6:30. But somebody told me to contact him today, and he said that he's taking off, I think, a week or two, or he had taken off last week and this week. I was unaware of that. So he'll be restarting the Let's Talk Genealogy series next week at 6. Just want to let you know about that. So it's listed on the Let's Go page of the Durham Skywriter. There's a calendar of events page. Now check this out. Durham Tech. Durham Technical Community College has something going on tonight called, and I hope I pronounce this right, opticianry. You know what an optician is. You know, they dispense contact lenses and glasses. So if I said this right, opticianry program information session that's going to be tonight from 7 until 8. The reason I'm so excited about it, as you know, a lot of people are having their hours cut. Some people have lost their jobs. They don't know what's happening. They don't know what they're going to do for money. They don't know what they're going to do about work. Durham Tech, they're not saying this lightly, because I know they're not frivolous like that. But being an optician, when you get trained for this profession, it has a 100% job placement success, 100%. So this sounds like the kind of job, if your job situation has been a little iffy, a little up and down, you know, I've been laid off a couple of times. You know, proofreading is not the job it used to be either. But hey, this sounds like something that you need to latch on to if you're looking for a profession that you can grow with, stay with, and rely on. So this session is going to be online from 7 until 8. The link can be found on the Let's Go page of the Durham Skywriter. So basically you sign up and then they'll send you the link. It's free. And basically it's just explaining what the program is all about. So the program isn't free, of course. But actually, I shouldn't speak for Durham Tech, but there are certain learning opportunities for people who are on aid or extremely low income, there are some programs that they can attend for free in terms of job training. I don't know if this is one of those situations, but in any case, it does not hurt to check it out. I'm just letting you know that the opticianry program information session is tonight, 7 till 8, offered by Durham Technical Community College. That is a diamond that we need to remember. We all talk about NCCU and Duke, and of course, next door, UNC Chapel Hill. Don't sleep on Durham Tech. Serious. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Tomorrow morning, Salvation Army, of course, they'll be having their Free Food Friday, and that is where you get in line, wear your mask. From 9 until 11, you can get canned goods. Sometimes they have meats, drinks, snacks, sometimes hygiene items, and sometimes even pet food. So they do ask that you take a copy of your apartment or home lease agreement and that you have a current photo ID. So that shouldn't be too difficult. So information, again, can be found on the Let's Go page. Weather report. It is 84, partly sunny. It's going up to 89. It's going to be sunny all day. And then tomorrow is going to be even hotter, 93 and sunny. Let's bring on my friend Sonia from back home, Sonia Purdue. She runs the Chicago's Black Business Network. So I definitely want to hear more about that. So let us bring on Sonia. Sonia.
Well, that's cool.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. What a great introduction.
Thank
Great.
you. Yeah, I was telling you about StreamYard. It's really fun. I really enjoy using this platform. And I didn't even tell you when we were talking earlier that although you do know that I'm broadcasting to the Durham Skywriter Facebook page, at the same time, it's also broadcasting over at the Patricia A. Murray YouTube channel at the same time. So you need to check it out for your for Chicago's Black Business Network for sure.
You're simulcasting. Well, you go ahead.
Oh,
with as I told you when we were speaking before you started, I'm going to be virtually crazy. People like you, Cy Smith, National Block Club University, and different people, they've been doing this for ages. Mm-hmm. And I've just been watching them. You know, it wasn't something I really wanted to do, but as I was saying last night, we're being forced to change the way that we do things. So I had to get on up, go ahead and push the Zoom button and start fiddling around. So I'm going to be virtually crazy when this is over with, but I'll make it.
But you know what? It's actually fun. Once you really get into it and you get used to it, then you realize you're talking to your friends. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not real deep. It's not like, you're talking in front of, like you're like trying to get a Nobel Prize or something.
Well, you're comfortable with it, yeah.
Well, I didn't start out comfortable. You should have seen me when I first started. Oh my God. Actually, I first started with radio. Actually, speaking of radio, I first got started with WHPK in Chicago.
I remember.
And now I used to write down every word that I said. And I would say, well, welcome to, I was so nervous. Welcome to Scoop Radio. I'm Pat Murray, your host. You get used to it though. Mm-hmm. You get into it. And then you realize it's fun. What really helps is when people tell you how much they got out of whatever it is you were discussing. That's what really helps you along. When people say they appreciate the information and, if they actually put something that you said to use.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when you were at is that University of Chicago Radio?
Right. Yeah.
I remember when you were over there doing your, I guess it was a weekly show.
Scoop Radio.
Cousin came over there. Yeah, I remember you were diligent, doing your thing. I remember that. Yes. Oh, that was so long ago.
I know. Tell me about it.
Was that the 80s? Or was that the 90s?
90s, because I started the Southside Scoop. Actually, it started out as the Woodlawn Scoop. Mm-hmm. Then it became the Woodlawn Inglewood Scoop. And then the Southside Scoop. And I think when it was Southside Scoop, I was in 13 neighborhoods on the South Side and decided to do Scoop Radio, public affairs show on WHPK. And what's really funny, Sonia, is that the week after I started my show, the Hyde Park Herald started their show. It hadn't occurred to them, even though they're right there in Hyde Park, right there almost affiliated with the University of Chicago. It hadn't occurred to them in their like 100 years of existence to have a radio show until I came on their turf, and they were like, "Well, who's this chick?" And they started their show.
Well, that's great. I'll say to you that, like I said to one of my associate partners that I work with on some different events and everything, you're an influencer, and that's what we do. Because you'll say, well, I started doing it, then this person started doing it. I say, but that's what we do. We do these things so that people can do it, so they can understand that it's available, and you do it too. There's a million. I used to get served. I say, everybody's getting a radio show now, but there's millions of radio shows. I believe there are millions,
Yeah, and there's room for all.
And people are not. One thing when we're thinking of, and in that way, people are not consistent. They'll come in, they'll get something. 3 weeks later, you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
You don't have to really be concerned about what people are doing, as a business person. You have to be concerned about some, because some people will, they will excel. But I think that probably 80% of them, you look around next week, they're not even there. They're not doing anything because
I agree, because I don't think the Hyde Park Herald kept their radio show going for very, very long.
They're not going to.
Yeah. And also when I was in Woodlawn with my, the first incarnation of my paper was the Woodlawn Scoop, and somebody else came right behind me with a similar looking paper. I don't know if you remember Bishop Brazier and Leon Finney and the shenanigans that they would cause havoc in Woodlawn. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Brother Leon started his own newspaper. It looked just like mine, except his had color because he had money. And he would put his newspapers right next to mine.
Okay.
And just trying to usurp my position in the community. But his newspaper only lasted 2 issues, because one thing you have to remember, when you're doing a community paper, you need to serve your community and don't talk about yourself throughout all the pages. I mean, you're going through all the pages, you see all these pictures of Leon Finney in color, and and read about accolades, Leon and Bishop Brazier. I don't want to put them down too much, because I don't want to be a mean person.
It's okay.
But I'm just saying, you need to persevere, because if people come up against you with the wrong reasoning, they're not going to last. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's one thing that it is, Patricia, that I've learned in being a independent, contractor, small business owner. People see you doing things, and this is pretty much everything, and we think like this. They don't know the work that goes into doing what you did. So they jump out there, they want to do it, and they don't understand the work that went into what you did this morning. You have to gather that information, put it together, and be consistent with it. They don't understand the work that goes into it. They think it just pops out of the sky. No.
Well, not only that, Sonia, but it's not necessarily generating income. I've never made any money from anything I've done online in terms of my so-called TV show or radio shows, because I use the NPR model. I believe that it should always be free, and that in terms of my newspaper also, it's always been free. The advertisers should pay your way, in my opinion, as opposed to making people, pay for the news that you're dispensing. So everything I've done on radio and so-called TV or online, I've never tried to generate money from that. To me, that's bringing me the eyeballs to the Durham Skywriter. It's also a wonderful way to dispense information, because people respond to faces. When you see a face talking as opposed to reading words, sometimes you take it more seriously, or you're just more interested in it. You say, oh, what's he talking about?
Yes, this is true. And that's a good point that you're making, because someone was saying to me, Chicago's Black Business Network is really a social media management and training organization. If I would put it in a sentence, okay, we evolved and, to become something else, okay? But, in the beginning we were giving events and that type of thing. It's not something that we really do now, But my packages, they're just little bitty packages that I get, almost give to people. And I was explaining to someone, she said, well, she does marketing. She said, well, you're too cheap. I said, you missed the point about being cheap. What's the first thing in marketing? Making people aware that you're there. Number one, I'm not trying to make money off those packages. Yeah, I used to. It took me a long time to learn this one little point. I wanted to make money off the packages, okay, that I was selling. You don't have Twitter. I have 16,000 people on Twitter. I'll put you on my Twitter every day. You don't have, and I don't know how I'm going to monetize those group of people in Chicago's Black Business Network. There's 16,000 of them, but there's millions of groups. I'll figure that out.
Sure.
But you don't have 16,000 people, so I'll put you in my group or wherever I am, all right? And that's how I service small business owners, and I don't charge them much. So the point is not me making money off of them doing those little social media packages. Those are just for exposure. If they want something else, well, yeah, it's more money, okay? If they want more outreach, yeah, it's more money, okay? It's not those $15, $20, $30, $40 packages. But what you have to do is bring people into your circle, make them aware that you're there. I'm an insurance agent. I want to talk to you about insurance. So I get you over there and we connect. And that's where I would make my money. Or when I was doing Ron's paper, that's where I would make my money on doing the ads. It's not always about them coming in and doing those, just like supermarkets, those loss leaders. You bring them into the supermarket, and then what you come out with? 2 bags of food, and you went to get that them 2 cans of soup. It's the same thing. It's nothing new about it. You got to bring them to you, and that's how we do.
So when you say package, you're talking about like social media package. Okay. Tell us about Chicago's Black Business Network. You did just kind of give us a 1-sentence synopsis, but tell us more. Like who's in your organization and what's it all about?
Well, the organization is actually Sonia Cassandra Purdue, but it's just I started it when the mortgage industry bottomed out in 2007. I wrote my last loan in 2007. So 2008, I started Chicago's Black Business Network. I thought I would probably go back into it. So I was building a referral base for when I went back into real estate as a loan officer, maybe, or as a real estate agent, which I'm not going to do. So I was just building a referral base. It was not a plan. There was no plan. It said, push a button and start a network. I said, oh, push the button. And then, there you go. And people started coming. The radio show, I've done about 300 podcasts. It says, push the button if you want a radio show. Oh, let me see. I pushed the button. So all of a sudden, like I said, I wrote it down, invited some people over. And there's a radio show,
Nice.
So eventually I had to start treating it like a business. People started asking me, what you going to do? I had no idea what I was going to do. Are you going to give an event? Because we're talking about 2008, 2009. Well, Chicago's Black Business Network, it sounds like you're going to do something. I wasn't worried about it. It didn't bother me, Well, what you going to do? And they asked the question, what do you do? I'm like, I don't do anything. I just have a network. So I had to give an event, Then I had to do a radio show. So I had to evolve, start becoming something. So I decided eventually did a business plan, got a license, all that kind of stuff. I'm a social media person, eventually. But I had no idea really what in the world. I don't know.
16,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
I brought a domain and just went on with it. And I say this, Pat, because I've done a lot of things, have had so many jobs. I've done a lot of things. This girl said, everybody can't do what you do. Yes, you can. You can push a button and you can get a radio show. You can push a button and you can get a network. You can go buy a domain and you can get a business license. I mean, it's just like, yes,
you have to want to do it.
Huh?
You have to want to do it, and I think you have to be slightly adventurous.
You have to be confident.
And
I don't have a problem with self-esteem. You ask me something, I can do it. That's how I look at it. And I do this, and I say this because people can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it does take work. If if you're not gonna work at it, then it's not gonna happen. Like you said, they're gonna drop off in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They're gonna be gone. They're gonna be
Yeah.
gone anytime.
Now,
Uh,
I noticed, was it yesterday you were online and you had business owners talking about their businesses? I saw it on Facebook. So is that a regular show that you have, that you're developing? And also I want to know if you still have this radio show that you mentioned.
okay. I'm not really doing the radio show. What I want to do with the radio show, I'm doing too many things right now, Pat, to tell you the truth.
I
But
know.
I want to focus. You know what I mean? My plate's too full already.
I
Okay.
understand.
You know, I want to get involved with the insurance. I want to do the insurance. I want our people to be insured.
Mm-hmm.
We specialize in living benefits, and that is what I want to do, and that is what I want to share. But
Okay.
as far as the radio, what I want to do, I'm trying to offer authors the opportunity to record excerpts from their books, and
Mm.
I do it very economically for $15 and get a whole page. They can
Okay.
record their excerpt from their books, and I've had people to do it. It turns out very, very well.
Mm.
Once again, people confidence and self-esteem. My voice is not good. I can't do.
I can't, I can't, I can't.
We got to
Stop it.
got
Stop
to
it.
stop. So that's what I want to do. I don't really want to broadcast myself. That's not what I want to do. I've
Mm-hmm.
done it already. I don't need to do it anymore, really.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, maybe you shouldn't think of it that way, because even though you were broadcasting yesterday, you were trying to showcase other businesses.
okay, yesterday
And
that is a broadcast in a way. Yeah, that's a different kind.
oh,
Yes, I'm trying to grow that.
mm-hmm.
I've I've done about three of those Zooms. I'm calling it show and tell. Like I
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm working on it.
Okay.
As I told them, I'm evolving to my virtual self. I'm working on it. Yes, I do want businesses to come on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about featured speakers, although I will have some.
Mm-hmm.
It's about you coming on and talking about what it is that you do.
Okay.
And there's no charge for them to do it. Come on and talk about what it is that you do, and it's all about them. Hmm.
I'm curious. As you know, I grew up in Chicago. I only moved here. Ooh, I've almost been here 20 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Mm.
But here's the thing. I haven't been in Chicago for a while in terms of knowing who's who and what's what. I visited a few times in the past 20 years, but I know the business arena has changed a lot. And just hanging out with my niece, who's in her 30s, she drove me around and she's showing me Black-owned art galleries. I'm like, oh, not that there's never been one in Chicago, but I mean, things just look kind of grand now. And she's showing me these restaurants and art galleries and this whole, I mean, it's not something that I grew up with. When I was a kid, or even in my 30s, there were probably, let's see, I used to work downtown. There were probably 3 Black businesses in all of downtown Chicago. The popcorn, Garrett's Popcorn. And I was told they were only given the chance to have their popcorn shop open in the DePaul building on Jackson is because he was a good Catholic. So,
Right.
yeah. So and he was one of the first. And then there was a Black-owned Soul by the Pound, was soul food that you bought by the pound.
Yeah, it used to be on State Street.
Yeah. And then
Oh.
there was another Black-owned business that had like beauty supplies and stuff. And that was pretty much it, at least visible. Because, Chicago's gigantic. There's a lot of stores, that are not on the ground level. And there's so many skyscrapers. There must have been other Black businesses that were just not visible at the ground level that I didn't know about. But I'm making this too long-winded, but I guess all I'm trying to say is when I had my little newspaper in Chicago more than 20 years ago, most of my advertisers were Black, not all, but most. And mostly they were just little family-owned, like little grocery stores and little mom and pop stores, what they would call bodegas, I guess, in New York. Just like little businesses. And I think, the Illinois Casket Company on Halstead. I actually had Hyde Park Bank. They're not Black, of course, but Hyde Park Bank advertised with me. So I just want to ask you, what's going on with Black businesses? What kind of businesses are part of the Black Business Network? Because I am very curious.
Well, I'm going to say, I could say that Black businesses have evolved tremendously, and that would not be true. They have evolved. There are some new players in there, and there were more Black restaurants and a few Black coffee shops and retail shops and that type of thing. I happen to live in Edgewater, so I'm not on the south side a lot, a lot, a
You're
lot.
in Edgewater.
Yeah, I'm in Edgewater. So I'm virtual
Wow.
more than anything.
Okay.
So I'm virtual. But I look at Black businesses as limiting themselves. There is no industry that we should not be in. We choose a lot of times. There's a lot of people who do nails and do hair and different things, but we're not reaching our potential. Okay, we're not reaching as high as we can. I know a lot of it has to do with money, but we don't have the investments and the people who invest in us, and we're not investing in ourselves, and that's because we don't want to all the time, because they're living, foot to hand. What is it? Foot to mouth, or what is it?
Hand to mouth. Hand
Hand
to
to
mouth.
mouth, something like that. So it's not that they don't want to. They don't have the investment money either to be investor angels and that type, angel investors and that type of thing. So we don't have the variety of businesses that we should have. So we cannot employ the number of people that we should have. We're not reaching as we should have. I could say that it's progress, but when I come from the south side to the north side, I don't feel the progress. I feel the same thing that I felt 40 years ago.
Really?
There's quite a disparity, and that disparity is still there. You might look a little better, but it's not better.
Okay.
It really is.
When you go to different neighborhoods, like when you go to different neighborhoods, Polish neighborhoods or Puerto Rican or whatever, I notice that pretty much it seems that everybody kind of starts out the same way. Eateries, maybe hair, depending on the ethnic group, and real basics, insurance, real estate. And I think it takes maybe a couple of generations before people really start getting exposure to what's available. I think that we and a lot of other ethnic groups tend to do what is considered a sure thing. It's really hard to stick your neck out and try something that's truly innovative. I was just talking about these these Black young folks who started a business that was very innovative. They were not successful because they started out too big. Now, I think there's nothing wrong with thinking big, but you do have to start small. Their business, check this out, knowing that, what do you call those, architects, when they have their blueprints, they have to be approved by City Hall before they can do any work. So they set up shop across from City Hall, and their business model was this. We will take your blueprints, we'll take the trouble of standing in line and getting your drawings approved while you do your work. Because it's hard to go from the far south side or north side or west side all the way downtown in such a huge city like Chicago. I mean, here in Durham, you put, a couple quarters in the parking meter and just run inside. It's not like that in Chicago.
No.
It's just too gigantic. So anyway, the business would have been successful had they not started out too big. But I applauded them for having the vision, for having a brilliant idea, and it's really hard to tell young folks how to dream big and yet start small. Do you have any advice on that? Because I started real small. I started with just Woodlawn Scoop, and then became Woodlawn Inglewood Scoop, and then Southside Scoop. I started out in my own little neighborhood.
I don't think it's any different for them. People have those growing pains. Companies, it happens to companies. They have those growing pains and they can't handle it. If you can get through that to the other side, then you're going to be successful. If you can't, it's not. So I wouldn't say don't, but if you can't get through those growing pains, and if you can't take advice from the white people who can show you how to get through those growing pains. See, I don't remember having mentors or people who were mentoring me and that type of thing. We need mentors who can get you through those growing pains, because you can get through them, but you don't necessarily know how. Just because you know how to do one thing don't mean you know how to do something, the other part of the business, all the different parts that go into the business. You don't necessarily know how to do the accounting. You don't necessarily know how to do the marketing, although some people you can't tell that. You know what I'm saying? And some people can't afford to have other people. But there are services, and there are the SBA. There are people to help you through. You have to, but you have to know to search out those people to help you through those hiccups. And maybe they did not seek the right advice, or someone who can say, do this, this, and this, and this, and this how you get through that. Okay. I do want to say one other thing. I don't know what your cutoff time is, because you mentioned it. Because you mentioned
my show. It's my show.
Because you mentioned it about training, about the tech, the program at the tech tonight or tomorrow night. I've been having this conversation since we went to lockdown and everything. And I said last night, myself, of course, we have our webinars every Wednesday night, everybody, at 7 p.m. Go to Chicago's Black Business Network. But I was saying this last night, and I'm going to keep saying it. So March, April, May, June, 4 months, we kind of been locked down, off work, out. And so everybody's not going back to their job. It's just not going to happen. So what are you going to do, people? You got to skill up. You have got to skill up.
Definitely. That's why I was so excited about this optician training,
Absolutely.
or not session, to tell you about the optician training here in Durham. Now I mentioned Durham Technical Community College earlier. They actually have a small business program, small business center, where they give free seminars and webinars for businesses dealing with marketing,
everything,
business plan, everything. What is their counterpart in Chicago? Because I used to write about it in Chicago when I was there. What's it called?
The SBA has phenomenal classes, and I guess we don't have physical locations anyway. I took the entrepreneurial startup class in like 2014, 2016, somewhere up in there.
Okay.
It was 15 weeks. It was free. It was phenomenal. I had promised myself for age, I'm going to write a business plan. Probably had a one-page business. I'm going to write a business plan. Okay. By the time you get through that, my instructor, Philip Fairweather, was phenomenal. It was through Bethel organization on the west side. Okay. Who's get a lot of funding over there. But, the Urban League does it. Bruce Montgomery, he does it on the south side. So
we're friends on Facebook. I know that name.
Bruce Montgomery, he does a 15-week program on the south side. Okay. So it's a phenomenal program, phenomenal. I didn't think I was going to get through 15 weeks. It's been so long since I've been to school, but I did. And it's just great. So
both of us are saying jump on those opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because, they can really, really lead you to success.
The city of Chicago has a lot of programs, a lot of free programs. They have their own small business center. You go, well, I guess we do it virtually now. You take their classes there that you take in every area. Okay. I'm getting ready to take some more classes. I didn't do as much the past 4 months. I was being but I do busy things. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. I do busy things. I'm on my way to start a newspaper. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the newspapers I wrote for Chicago Street Journal? Did you ever see those?
Yeah, Ron Carter's paper.
Yeah, did you see mine? In 2018, I was associate publisher. I did those papers.
I think I did.
You did?
I think I did. Because I know you told me that you had taken it over, I believe.
And I
So,
quit in 2018 so I could do my own paper, but I didn't do it.
so is the paper, is the South Street Journal, are they still around?
He's getting ready to, I think he said he's putting out an issue July 11th. Ron believes in print paper. You know, you
Yeah.
can't change Ron's mind. Ron Carter, you can't change his mind about that. He was not
Now,
excited about online newspaper. He wants that print, which
I
is
understand.
important. Our
It is.
community still need it.
To tell you the truth, if I had the money, I would still print out some Durham Skywriters to dispense to the senior citizens, because not all of them have that hookup, that online hookup.
I got you.
So, and one day I will be able to do that, but right now I can't. But yeah, printed newspapers. I actually, a lot of people say, "Oh, I sure missed this Skywriter in print." I do too, actually. I do too. But there's nothing. I'm sorry. Now that I'm online, when I would be so, there's nothing like printing your paper, picking it up from the printer, distributing it, and then realize that you missed something because somebody didn't send you a press release until a half hour before the event happened. That is maddening. I mean, I'm able to update the Skywriter every single day.
Okay.
Which, even though it's a monthly paper, it's updated. I tell people check it every day because it changes through. In fact, it's production week, so it's going to change a lot this week.
Okay.
So my June information will be, July, August information real quick. But the online thing is powerful because I get so mad at people. They'll put on an event. They say, yeah, we're going to put on a seminar at 2:30 this afternoon. You didn't tell nobody? This afternoon. I should have. That's why I have to update it every day, because some people just wait to the very last minute to put out there. Let me tell people, creating a Facebook event page is not a press release.
No, it's not. And those people just put their faces up there to be seen. They're not coming anywhere. They just pop up to be seen. I stopped doing it because I don't have the energy. And so for my Wednesday night meetings, I'm just not going to do it. I just don't have the energy. I'm go down the street somewhere else. And I can do it. I can get more people talking to them individually than I can in those events. So it's exposure, just letting people know, but nah, that's not what I'm doing. Because what we're doing is serious. And when you're doing serious things, they're not as prone to get involved. If I was doing something silly, or if I was doing, what's that, house music and showing myself around, it's all different. That's a different thing. And that's more maybe like what Facebook is made for, events, They're more prone to get all excited about that, or somebody giving money or something. But we're serious about, what we're doing. And so you're going to have less participation, but hopefully it will be quality participation. Okay?
Exactly. I don't expect 1 million people to open up the DurhamSkywriter.com anytime soon. Not 1 million people. But for those who need the information, I definitely welcome them. And I'm sure that you welcome any business that comes along that wants to know more about what you're doing. And let me go back to what you were doing. Your social media packages are what? Twitter, Facebook, and what else? Instagram?
Instagram, and then I have, my little e-blast I send out every week. I'll put them in there. Those people have never met them. I have 2,000 people over there, but
nice.
A few hundred may open it up. So those people have never seen you before, so it's exposure. These are $15, $20, $25, $35 packages. It's exposure so that you're somewhere that you haven't been before, in front of people that you're not normally in front of, because we know Facebook controls who we see, and they cut down who we see. You don't see as many people. You see the same people. You got to go out there and, go on your friends and start hitting them and liking them so that you can see more of them, because they show you the same people all the time.
Well, let me tell you what I do. As you know, I do Bull City Hangout every day except Sunday. Everybody that I mentioned, because I have my list of, like today, Durham Public Schools, Chicken Hut, Healthy Start Academy, Grace Church, et cetera, I tag them. So even though they might get tired of me tagging them every day, but if I mention them, I tag them regardless.
Okay.
And sometimes there are organizations that put on events just one time, and I might hear from them once every quarter, whatever. But I'm letting them know that I'm promoting what they're doing by tagging them when I mention them. So even if it's in conversation, like yesterday, I was hanging out with Jesse, and we mentioned Durham County Library. It was not on my list of businesses to mention, but I mentioned them in conversation, so I tagged them because I mentioned them. So that's another way to beat the algorithms. That's not what I'm not trying to beat anything, but I figure it's an invitation and another way to be seen.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. But I enjoy what I do. When I decided that I was a social media consultant, whatever I call myself, I decided that I really do enjoy it. I enjoy being in social media, and I enjoy. I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this Zoom stuff because I enjoy being behind the scenes. I do express myself in different ways. I just jump.
I think you're a really good host. I've only seen you maybe two or three times, but you're really good. One thing about you is that you are very calm and very well spoken and organized.
Am I really?
You come across that way.
Man, it don't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that at all. I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna maybe end like this. Someone called me. This man called me. Wasn't Tuesday. Okay, I had an event on 111th in Michigan, like April of 2019. Okay. David Muhammad has a children after school program, had a children's after school program. This affects so many people, called the Koofy Club. Okay, he was doing very well. Young black man in his 30s, Chicago public school teacher, and he had this nonprofit. He was working it over there, you know.
Nice.
And so I rented the space, and we did a vendor event. And so this man called me like Tuesday. I guess I had put an e-blast out. All right. He said, Miss Perdue, you know, me and my wife were at your event last year. So you don't never know who's watching what they think. At your event last year. And he said, I just want to tell you something. He said, you are so consistent and that we appreciate you so much. Wow. And he was talking to me. I'm like, you know what? I was so emotional, Pat. Like, because who calls you and tell you they appreciate you?
I know, right?
Nobody. And so I was just so emotional about that little thank you and everything. I really, really was. He said, yeah, I get your e-blast and your information and everything. I'm like, wow.
That's really good.
It was. So it's all good.
Well, I had something funny happen once. I was doing, what was I doing? I was doing video for Vets to Vets United. It's basically, my friend Terry is a veterinarian, and she helps former military personnel to choose a dog and train them. And she has a graduation ceremony. So I was there taking pictures and doing video for Terry and Terry Morris. And this lady runs up to me and she's like, "Oh, it's you!" And I was like, "Hi." Apparently, she had watched Bull City Hangout, and I was announcing every week. I would announce her program. There is a Christian coffee house on North Roxborough Street, and on Saturdays they used to have free concerts, and I mentioned it every Saturday. And so she knew my face. So naturally, I didn't know her face, but she knew my face. And so she ran up to me all goo-goo-eyed and everything. "Oh my God, thank you so much!" And so that was hilarious, but it was very funny too.
It's very touching. So now you have a connection. You know each other now.
Yeah, so it was really cool. And in fact, you're right. You don't know who's watching. You know who's appreciative of what you do. And I actually, as a business owner and just as a nice person, when I'm in a business and I see something good happening, I ask to speak to the manager. I was at Dollar Tree on Fayetteville Street the other day. They're redoing the whole store, And we used to actually go all the way to Miami Boulevard. You don't know what I'm talking about. You're in Chicago. But we go all the way to Miami Boulevard to that Dollar Tree because they had better selection of the stuff we like. But this Dollar Tree over here, closer to my house, is now very much like the Miami Boulevard one. And it's vastly improved. So I asked the cashier, I said, is the manager in? He was like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. So he got the manager. The manager came out. And I told him, I said, this store is on point. I said, you guys are doing a wonderful job. This is incredible. I love your selection. I don't even need the Miami Boulevard store anymore. Mm-hmm. And he thanked me. He said, most people, when they want to see the manager, they want to complain about something. He says, it's very rare that somebody takes the time to actually say something nice or express appreciation. And I try to do that wherever I go. If I see something, if I see something really bad too, I'll try to call to their attention so people won't get hurt. You know, if you see nails sticking up out of the wall or something like that, of course I'm going to mention that. But yeah, go ahead. I mean, as a business owner, you know how it feels to be appreciated. And so as a business owner and nice person, you should do the same to the businesses. And who knows, maybe one day they will want to do business with you. That's not the reason why I do it, but who knows? That might be the start of a lovely friendship.
Well, Patricia, we know this is not the reason we do any of it. We are here to serve, and Definitely. That's what we do. That's why we, you know, Definitely. that's what we do, and that's just how it is, you know, and that's okay. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely. So people who are in Chicago, all your friends are going to watch this, wondering how can I join Chicago's Black Business Network? So how do they follow you, find you, and how do they join?
Find me on Facebook. Google me, Chicago's Black Business Network. There I am. You put Chicago Black Business in there, I'm going to be there on the first page.
I love that.
I'm there. I'm Chicago Black Business.
I love it.
Without even knowing it. I'm just there. Yeah. So there I am.
So you're going to continue to do these Wednesday night shows on Facebook?
I am. I'm going to continue to test it and tweak it. I have to figure out not so much how to monetize it, but to get my numbers up. And that type of thing. I had more numbers in the beginning than I have now. And I did it live. I went from Zoom and I Zoomed and I went live with Zoom. So I just have to, because I'm not really marketing it. I'm kind of hitting at it. You know, you do have to put the work in.
Yeah, I need to figure out ways of getting the word out about Bull City Hangout as well. I do invite a lot of people. I get lots of thumbs up. You know, my viewership is not high live. Practically all of my views are of the replay. I do want people to watch it live too, though, because again, the people that I'm telling you about, or rather the people that I'm telling about the free meals, that's really time sensitive, because you notice I said you have until 12:30 to get to these schools, then 1:30 to get to these other schools. So naturally, I want people to watch the show live, as many people as possible. But do you have any suggestions?
For you, it is important because yours are time sensitive. Mine are not as time sensitive. Okay, and I can afford to do. It depends on how I'm going to format it. I can afford to do after my Zoom marketing, like I used to do my broadcast. I didn't worry about people calling in. I didn't even really want them to call in. Afterwards, I would market it because I wanted to watch it in downloads, and we got lots of those. For you, you're gonna have to text your link right to them right at the beginning of your show so they can open it up. That's what I would do. I would go to dollar call because you can do like 25 in a row, you know, 25 at one time right before you go on the air. Text. That's one thing.
That's interesting because I do post. I make a post on Facebook a half hour before I go on.
Well, and that's fine. People are so busy. There's so much going on. And how long does a post stay up? You know, people, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
I do pin it. But here's something funny, Sonia. I was experimenting one day. I was goofing off, and I think it was 4:45 in the afternoon. All these people started showing up. I said, why are y'all showing up now? Y'all don't show up at noon. Obviously, they're busy at noon. Here I am just goofing off at a 4:45, and people showing up from France and Belgium and all these different places. And
Okay.
I'm like, people from around the corner and all my friends, hey Pat, how you doing? I'm like, you couldn't show up at noon?
They have to see. That's a good point right there, and it's something that we do all the time. It's something that I always do, and I have to stop myself, but I rarely do stop myself. We as business owners, and it's not a me and you thing, it's how people think. We want to give people what they want, okay? So maybe they don't want to talk to you at noon, maybe they want to talk to you at 5, but we want to do, and we want to sell what we want. I'm going to sell this. Well, that may not be what people want.
But you know what?
But we do what we want to do.
But that did make me think that maybe I need to have an early evening edition and do the same show and just leave out the afternoon stuff and then talk about the next day. And then talk about the evening. Like if I do a show at 5, then I would talk about what's happening that evening. Because a lot of, like that optician session, that's going to be at 7 o'clock.
Or in the morning.
Yeah, so I can talk about at 5 o'clock what's happening tonight and then tomorrow morning. So maybe I need to do that since people obviously have time at 5 o'clock. I couldn't believe how many people showed up. More people than I've ever seen in my life.
We have a tendency to do that. I do it all the time. I make up a product. It doesn't mean that's what they want. It's what I think they want. But you test, what is research and development? You test, you tweak. We just don't have $1 million research and development department, but you test and you tweak. You test.
I will do that.
And then if you find it and you catch a hold of it, like this man, I can't think of his name, but he owns barbecue shops here. He said, if you find it and it works, you take it and run with it. But you just keep on testing and tweaking. And then that's what
I'm going to do. I'm going to do that.
We're not going to stop, but we're going to keep on doing it.
Because I can't force people to watch it.
No. They're going to watch it when they want to.
I'm going to do that today.
Oh,
I'm going to do a show around 5 o'clock.
You're going to make some more work for yourself. Don't we do that all the time?
But it's not that much work.
It's not that much work.
Because I have, let's see, tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, it's not that big a deal.
It's not? It felt like work when I was trying to do my little pop-up because I don't have the material. I'm still creating the material because I did the little pop-up, 10-minute pop-up. So it felt like work to me because I didn't have the material. I had to start. But once I get the material, it'll be okay. But
when you do a pop-up, that's like you are showcasing businesses, right? So I guess you're worried that nobody's going to show up. So I guess as long as you know that you have at least one, then you're home free, right?
That doesn't worry me because I know people can watch it. It's on my page. People can watch it afterwards.
So where does the work part come in? Why does it feel like work?
Me figuring out what I'm going to say, what I'm going to talk about today. But I'm only going to make them 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not getting ready to do a whole lot of work.
No, that's cool because when I was doing the earlier incarnation of Bull City Hangout was Bull City Notes. And that lasted from 5 to 10 minutes. And by design, I was not inviting anybody to join me. Okay. I only started Bull City Hangout because of the pandemic.
Okay.
And I thought, mistakenly, that people would want to hang out. Well, some people do want to hang out. I appreciate your hanging out. Jesse hung out last week, and I've had different people yesterday, different people have hung out with me. So I think the clever ones who realize this is an opportunity to talk to my market, that they would take me up on it.
They need to understand it's an opportunity to have a video of themselves, being interviewed and interacting that they put on their page. They need to understand that it's another Google link for you. Once it gets to rolling, it's another Google link. So you want to invite people. You want them putting comments on it, and you want to put your website on it. It's a link for you. You're building links.
Exactly. And with my show being on YouTube, you can download it and edit it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like you can download, what do they call it? MP4. You can click on the video, download the MP4, and then if you know how to edit, If you know a young person or whatever knows
Okay.
how to edit, you can chop that rascal up. You can eliminate me completely.
I
And
see what you say.
that's why I say the clever ones, because you'll
And
figure out what to do with
make some
this.
little sound bites for yourself, or whatever
See?
you want to do.
That's why I do this, because I want people to realize, oh, this is a good opportunity to showcase what I do. I've had musicians to play music. I mean, if they're looking for gigs, they could just send them the file. This is me playing Body and Soul.
That's what they're failing to do. Look at it as an opportunity. And I keep saying, you never miss an opportunity to market yourself for free. You just don't miss it.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're missing that part.
Mm-hmm.
They think posting, just post. They think that that's their marketing, and it doesn't matter how many times I say it. That is not your marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not interacting with people. People don't even know you there. You have to comment.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like and you have to comment, because you go up in their notifications. Now someone knows you. Now you stand out. But do they do it? Stop being selfish, people. You have to comment, like, and interact.
Right. Definitely.
That's it.
There you go. So I hope people in Chicago. Now, are you looking forward to maybe people in other cities joining the Black Business Network, like people in Gary or Hoffman Estates or Evanston or?
Absolutely, everybody.
Or Durham, North Carolina.
North Carolina, the whole world. Bangladesh, I was looking at my insights. Bangladesh, I don't care where, everywhere, all over the world. Here we are. I've interviewed authors from, I don't know where, everywhere. Nigeria, over here, Ghana.
Wow, that's awesome.
Sweden, I don't know who he was. But anyway, everywhere.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. It is. I never knew I would have this experience. I didn't plan for the experience. I didn't plan.
I certainly didn't.
I'm going out and interviewing everybody. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I didn't plan any of it. Now, one thing that I planned, it just happened. But it has been a really good experience. Something good happened the past 10 years. I know people know me. More people know me than I know. A whole lot of people know me. More people, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not bragging. When I went to do my SBA class. We just talking. I want to do my SBA class. 2016, and so I was almost the last person to introduce myself. Girl, do you know they started clapping?
Yeah.
Oh, is that her? Just like you said, is that her? That's her. I'm like, I didn't know these people knew me.
How about that? See?
I mean, I had no idea that these people knew me. See? I mean, I know I knew people, but I didn't know people knew me. And so my instructor, after would break, he said, wow, I didn't know we had a celebrity in the class. I said, I didn't know it either, because I did not know these people knew me. They were clapping.
That is awesome.
I'm like, no. I'm like, wow.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I realized I was starting to make a difference when I was being introduced to someone. Instead of them saying, "What's the Durham Skywriter?" it changed to, "Oh, you're the Durham Skywriter."
That's right. You are.
Yeah. So, like they knew me. So at least the publication, if not me.
I'm sure they know. What's the population of Durham?
Keeps growing. We're almost at 300,000.
Okay. I'm sure they know.
I know that sounds big to me, but how big is Chicago now?
I don't know. I guess it's still 1 million or something, somewhere around there.
What do you mean just a million? When I was a kid, it was 3 million.
You think? Girl, I don't even know.
Now you know Chicago is not like Detroit, where they're losing all of their citizenry. That's a good. I'm gonna look it up real quick, and then I know we gotta go.
It's 1 million. It's 1 million blacks. I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay, because I know there's a lot more.
There's a lot more.
There's 1 million people in your neighborhood. I'm sure.
No, Detroit was kind of frightening. I haven't been to Detroit in ages, but
I went to the airport.
It was scary to me. I turned the wrong corner up in Detroit, and I did get my Michigan life insurance license last week.
Mm-hmm.
If I can talk about life insurance before we leave, um, my agency is National Life Group. That's our underwriter and our carrier. They've been in business 132 years, so it must be some money in insurance.
You know it is.
To have that longevity. But insurance, and I didn't know when I was younger, Pat, has the best residual income program out there of any industry. Real estate agents don't get residuals. Beauty, and I keep trying to tell barbers and stylists, you don't get any residuals.
Explain what that is.
If I build my business to a certain level, okay, when you renew your insurance, I get paid a few dollars, okay?
Okay.
If I build my business to a certain level and I build a team, I get residuals off of them. Everything that they do, everything that they write. If you're a stylist, if you don't get up going and do a hair, as they say, okay, have a customer, you don't get paid. If you're a baker, you don't bake a cake, you don't get paid. If you're a barber, you don't and you cut hair, you don't cut hair today, you don't get paid. Okay? If I had known that long ages ago, I was running from insurance too. I know I don't want to be an insurance agent. I don't want to sell because you don't want to do sales, because most people are poor salespeople, and I'm not the greatest. But if I had only known, because once you get to a certain point, you don't have to work anymore. And I was not taught that. So that's the message that I'm trying to share now. I'm watching these people make some phenomenal money. And it doesn't mean everybody's going to make that kind of money. But if you, that's what called me. I said, if they can make that kind of money, I've never made that kind of money in my life. We have people making $50, $100, $200,000 a month. I've never made that type of money in my life. I've never even thought about making that type of money. But it's a test for me. Can I make that kind of money? Because that's a different kind of wealth, and that is a different that's a different kind of life.
And life insurance does help families.
Say that again.
Life insurance does help families.
It absolutely does. And we specialize in living benefits. And you're going to hear a lot of that now because a lot of companies are going into it. If you have a heart attack, stroke, or if you suffer a terminal illness, critical illness, okay, heart attack, stroke, you can obtain 70 to 90% of your face value, not when you die, but to help you through your illness. If you have a heart attack, 30 days, depending on what state you're in, after you sign that policy for $100,000, depending on the degree of your illness, you can get 70 to 90% of your policy, $70,000 to $90,000 that you don't have to wait for. Now, what happens to people is that people lose their homes and everything they have when they have medical illness. They have a heart attack or stroke. They can't work anymore. So where's the income? There is no income. So they can pull down 70 to 90% of their death benefit to use through these critical times. They can do it as a monthly payment if they want to, so that they can keep going and paying for whatever it is that they need to pay for. Okay? We had a lady in April, showed her on in one of our groups. She got $1 million. I don't know what kind of, maybe she had a $5 million policy. I don't know what kind of policy she had, but there she was. She had she had heart attack, cancer, stroke. I think she had cancer. And there was a check for $1 million for her. Well, that helps you get through because your medical bills are crazy, number one.
Tell me about it.
So living benefits is very important. We have a retirement arm in there. I'm going to give you an example. 25-year-old non-smoker, $100,000 with living benefits term 30 years, $20 a month.
That's all.
Yes. And so I'm trying to tell people you should be insured and you should have that living benefit. If something happens to you, you will not regret it. And that's what we're doing. And we're trying to build teams. Uh, with my company, we're non-captive, which means we can work with any insurance carrier that we want to. My company, insurance agent, being an insurance agency is fine for State Farm, Prudential, and all those. You can only sell their products.
Mm-hmm.
As a life insurance agent, I can sell anyone's products that I want to because
Mm-hmm.
I am now, from day one, a broker owner.
Okay.
I'm not committed to my agency. I don't have to sell their products. I can sell any of them that I want to. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
To work for State Farm, Prime America, whoever it is, you have to sell their products.
Mm-hmm.
I can sell any products that I want to. So I'm working on this and learn. I didn't know it was so much to learn, Pat. Oh my goodness. It is so deep.
I'm sure it's worth it.
Yeah. If I can, I made a commitment. I am making a commitment to share it and do it. So that's what I'm doing this year. Trying to insure people, trying to get them covered. It's worth it. I mean, if the person in your family doesn't want to get insurance, you should get it for them. Can't afford $20 a month for them? Because what's going to happen? If something happens to them, you're going to wind up paying for their funeral. And it's better to pay $20 a month, or $25 or $35 a month, than try to come up with what?
$8,000.
You see? So that's what I'm doing.
That's smart. It was almost a fad last time I was living in Chicago. A sad fad in that a lot of parents of teenagers were taking out insurance because so many were getting killed in the streets. And that's really sad statement to have to make. But at least they started to learn the value of insurance. And it's really sad they had to even think about that.
Isn't it something?
But,
but they need to do what needs to be done. And that's one thing that needs to be done. And the second thing, women, single mothers, they need to take out insurance policies on their baby's daddy, on their children's father. They need to take out those policies because once they're gone too. Okay? And on themselves and on their children.
When you take out a policy on somebody else, do you need their signature or their...
They can do the policy and you be the beneficiary.
So it's not like you can just say, "Oh, I'm going to take out a policy on this guy."
No, you can't do it. They would take it out.
Okay.
You'd be the beneficiary, but they should have a policy on it.
And obviously, people who want to learn more can find you on Facebook and get that connection.
They can go to Living Benefits, with it as livingbenefitsinsurancequote.com, and they can get a quote. And I'll be happy to do it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Sonia, for hanging out with me.
And thank you too, Pat. I appreciate it.
And I'd like to, with your permission, to get a little bit involved there with the Black Business Network.
Absolutely.
I might have, I don't know if I have a lot of wisdom, but I have a little bit of wisdom I might be able to share in case you wanted someone to just talk about stuff.
Yeah, you can come co-host with me one Wednesday.
That would be really fun.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, son. You take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. See ya. It was so fun. Wow, long show today. I don't know if you stuck around to watch the whole thing. If you did, thank you. And be sure to read Durham, North Carolina's online community paper, the Durham Skywriter at durhamskywriter.com. With that, you have a beautiful day, beautiful afternoon. I might see you at 5-ish. I think I might just do what I said I was going to do, maybe between 4:45 and 5, and experiment, do another Bull City Hangout, see what happens. So anyway, I will see you then, and also again tomorrow at noon. Ciao for now.